Hey friends, it's Rachel with the Ponds Farmhouse, and today I'm going to be sharing how I made this cute little Easter bunny topiary. This topiary is actually inspired by one from Williams and Sonoma, and I fell in love with it, but $129 was a little bit more than I wanted to pay for this cute little bunny. So I came up with a way to make one myself, and I can't wait to show you what I used to make it. That was kind of my dilemma. How am I going to make the little legs and arms and ears and everything? So I hope you enjoy seeing how I came up with that idea. So let's take a look at what I did. I'm going to pull the camera down and show you the items that I used to put this bunny together, and then I'll show you how I did it. So stay tuned. So I've gathered some supplies. Some of them are unconventional, but these are what I determined I could make this fun little bunny with. And what I'm using is some toilet paper rolls here. That was the first thing I thought of for the arms and the legs. I have some moss. I have these little push pins for the eyes and nose. I also have these styrofoam eggs for the body, and then these are going to be the ears. These came from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to use those as ears. So I think I've got it covered. So let's get started. Okay, the first challenge was the arms and the legs, and so I decided on these toilet paper rolls. What I did was I just kind of folded them inside each other and then started shaping them kind of bent like the legs were on my inspiration bunny. To hold them in place, I used some packing tape, and all I did was just use that packing tape to wrap around the shape of the legs, and to hold that shape like where its little foot's bent and the knee and everything, so that it would look like the bunny that I'm trying to duplicate. Now this is the arms, and I used one roll and just cut it in two, and did the same thing, just rolled it up inside each other, wrapped some tape around it. The tape will help to hold everything in place. Plus, I'm going to be using the skewers to actually put it into the styrofoam. So we'll see how that's going to look. Then next, I'm going to be using these styrofoam eggs to make the head and the body. And what I'm doing first is making the body, and I'm cutting that small end of the egg off and making it flat, so that's the body where he's sitting down. I'm using these skewers. I'm just cutting several of them into smaller pieces, and what we're doing here is we're using those. We're going to be sticking those in to hold everything together. So that's the first one, and then I'm taking the other egg and cutting the large end of it off, and this is going to be the head. So I'm going to cut that large end off, and then what we're going to do is take it and just put it on top of it like a little head. So I think that's going to turn out really cute, but let's see how it looks as we get it all together. So I'm going to use some hot glue, the skewers, and just stick it together, push it in, and you definitely want to make sure that it's secured. So add a little bit more hot glue until you feel like it's steady on there. So there's his body all put together. Now it's time to put the arms on, and the arms need to be also secured with the skewers. And what I'm doing is, again, adding hot glue and then actually pushing the little toilet paper roll onto the skewer and hold it in place until it feels like it's set up. As always, just go back around and add additional hot glue if you need it to secure it. Okay, before we put the legs on, let's go ahead and add these ears. I'm just cutting that greenery off of the little carrots that I got at Dollar Tree. I'm pushing some of the skewers into the small end. yeah, into the small end because I want it to be fatter at the top. So I'm pushing those in and just using hot glue to attach them. You just kind of want to line them up where you think the ears would be. See how cute that is? Now we're going to put the legs on, last thing, and doing the same technique here. I think I had tape on there, so I put a little bit of, I had to cut it a little bit to get the skewer in there, and then we're just going to stick it in where we think the legs should be. Again, securing all of that with hot glue, and you want to really make sure that they're positioned in the way that you want them to be coming out of your little pot for your topiary there. Isn't it cute? It's coming together slowly but surely. Go ahead and, as you can see, I'm having a little difficulty here with this one, so it took a little bit longer to get it to stay where I wanted it to be. But we're ready to go ahead and add that second little leg on there the same way, and we're going to soon have our little topiary together. It's coming along. I'm bringing this one up just a little bit. It's going to stick out a little bit more than the other one. Now we're going to go ahead and spray paint everything green so that the moss will cover it easily. We also need to get our pot ready, so I'm taking some recycled plastic bags from the grocery store, and I'm just sticking them in the pot to kind of fill in the bottom. And then what I'm going to do is use these pieces of styrofoam that I used earlier, hot glue them into the pot. See, I'm just using leftover pieces, hot glue them together, and then we're going to be attaching our topiary to that. But before we do, we want to cover all this with some moss. So I'm just taking some of that green moss, using hot glue, and filling in the pot and all over this little styrofoam. We don't want any of that to be exposed, so we want to go ahead and get that covered up really good. And now we're ready to put the topiary in. And I've already got the skewer in his little bottom here, and we're just going to make sure that it's about the right length to go into the pot. And then just push it in. And he's still a little tacky from the spray paint, so I'm trying to work easily around him and not get it all over me. But one thing that I did realize after I got him into the pot is my pot is plastic, so it's not very secure. And I found that I needed to give it a little bit of weight. And so with his legs and everything, he wanted to tip forward. So what I did was I just put some little pebbles that I had underneath that moss and used some hot glue to hold him in place so that he was good and secure. So now we're ready to add the moss. And what I'm doing is I'm just kind of starting underneath his legs here, and I'm just putting some craft glue on first. And then we're going to add some hot glue, because I found out with some of the other projects that if you just put the moss over the craft glue, it will hold it eventually, but it takes it so long, and you have a tendency for it to fall off if it's not in the right position. So I just put a little bit more hot glue on there first, and then apply the moss over that, and that helps to really secure it. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be covering this whole little bunny, his little carrot ears, and his little toilet paper arms and legs, and we're going to cover him up completely to make him look like a moss bunny. So hang with me. Okay, now that we have all the moss on, we're going to add the little push pin beads for his eyes and nose. And our final step is to add the greenery, and we're just adding sprigs of greenery. I didn't want to just wrap it around, so I just used hot glue to just add different little sprigs here around, and I took some around his arms and a little bit coming up around his ears. And I used some ivy in with these little greenery, running greenery here that I had. I didn't want to have to go out and buy new greenery, so this is just some that I already had on hand, and it's turning out really cute. And then I just trimmed him up a little bit to make sure that he looked real distinctive. And let's take a look at how he looks decorated.